Erev Tov, Chag Sameach, and good evening. My name is Gersh Lazaro, and as I've been saying each night, it is my privilege to be the Senior Rabbi of Temple Beth Israel and your host for our Share the Light Festival. Tonight, we get ready to light the sixth candle of Hanukkah, to celebrate the growing brightness that is spreading through our homes and spreading through our community as we reach towards the end of what has been a remarkably difficult year. But before we get to candlelighting, I want to take a moment to invite those of you that have not yet visited sharethelight.org.au, the website which hosts this digital festival, to go please and have a look. The link is on the video just below us right now. And there you will find all sorts of resources, activities, information, programs and events for you and your family to learn more about this festival, to see how you can participate and to bring it to life. And for those of you who are joining us from outside of the Jewish community, I want to encourage you to go particularly to the recipe page, to take a few moments to make one of the delicious traditional foods of this holiday, so that you can not only share the light with us this season, but also share some of the scrumptious delights of the season. Before heading into the synagogue for candlelighting, I do want to take a moment to also recognize the incredible work that has been done by Jody Sanders in front of the camera and Ido Sagir behind the camera in putting together our Share the Light podcast series. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's available both on our website and on our YouTube page, and launches at 8 a.m. each morning with a new 45 to 1 hour long podcast, interviewing a different member of our community, exploring what Hanukkah means to them and how they seek to share the light through our community and beyond this time of year. As I said, in a few moments, we're going to be heading on into the sanctuary to join with the Rauschberger and Silberscher family for the kindling of our lights this evening. But before we do that, I want to take a moment to invite onto our virtual bimah Auntie Lois Pilo, a proud elder of the Yorta Yorta people. She was recently in the congregation to remember the works and legacies of William Cooper, and recorded us this greeting as well as introduction to our very first song this evening.
I grew up on the orchards of Shepparton. We lived on orchards owned by Jewish families, and on the orchards, as children, we played together and later worked side by side. From different cultural backgrounds that neither group understood, we built respectful relations that exist today. As children, we observed with fascination our Jewish landlord, the matriarch of the family on whose land we found ourselves living, light candles at Shabbat, not understanding, but feeling the essence of spirituality in the ritual and deep respect. As a child, I was fascinated by the warm glow of the candlelight in that window. I felt a connectedness that I was part of that ritual. And that feeling has stayed with me all these years. As with our Aboriginal rituals, perhaps not understood, but we too seek respect for our traditions, which are also grounded in our history, our beliefs, our being. Our spiritual connection is to the land. Professor Mick Dodson expresses it this way: everything about Aboriginal society is inextricably woven with and connected to the land. Culture is the land. The land and spirituality of Aboriginal people, our cultural beliefs or reason for existence, is the land. Now there is a song that binds us together, Burafera. The history of this song suggests a story that stretches across several continents and thousands of years. I am told that the Yorta Yorta lyrics are based on an ancient song within the Jewish tradition, known as the Song of the Sea, sometimes called Miriam's Song. It is said that the song was composed and sung by Miriam, the older sister of the prophet Moses. And it may be found in Exodus 15, especially verse 4. Pharaoh's chariots and his host hath he cast into the sea. His chosen captains also are drowned in the Red Sea. So in Yorta Yorta, Wamriga Moses Nyinan Wala, when Moses struck the water, Wala Yapani Apuch, the water came together. Nyara Bura Fera Yumanayala, and drowned all Pharaoh's army. Hallelujah. The song was translated into Yorta Yorta by my grandmother Yamak, a student of Grandpa Thomas James, a teacher at Maloga Aboriginal Mission. My mother, Geraldine Briggs, was the keeper of the song. In the tradition of oral transmission of culture and history in Aboriginal society, and in the celebration of continuity of culture, Burafera was featured in the movie based on family experiences, The Sapphires. But in a concert held to mark Melbourne's foundation in May 1937, the grand finale was the Aboriginal choir's singing of Burafera, which expressed their identification with Jews as the dispossessed of the Book of Exodus. And in the same year, in November 1937, the Australian Aborigines League, Arthur Burdew, read a poem called The Tragedy of the Aborigines and made a plea for justice for the men who had been dispossessed of their land. So over the years, there has been much to connect our two communities. And as we move into this time of observance in the Jewish community, my wish to all rabbis, and indeed the entire community, is Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you, Auntie Lois, for that beautiful teaching and wonderful blessing. It was a privilege to have you in the synagogue just a few weeks ago when we gathered to recognize and remember the extraordinary legacy of William Cooper. At that time, I committed on behalf of Temple Beth Israel and the progressive community to continue to do everything that we can to support you and your peoples, the First Nations of our great nation, in their continued fight for recognition in our nation's constitution and a voice in our nation's parliament. The land on which we gather was never ceded, and your link to language, to culture, and most particularly to land is unbroken. We honor it at TBI by taking the words of the song that you just taught us, Burafera, a song which has been passed down through your family, and by returning it into their traditional Hebrew through the words of Micha Mocha, and in so doing acting in a way to bring together our people's song of redemption with your people's continued aspiration for recognition, a redemption still yet to come. Please join us in the sanctuary now as Ido Sagir and Tammy Cohen lead us in the singing of Burafera, Micha Mocha.
Raka Moses Yanyan Walla Yepuna Yepush Nara Burafera Yumanayala Nara Burafera Yumanayala Nara Burafera Yumanayala Nara Burafera Yumana Burafera Yumana Burafera Yumanayala Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai Mika Mocha Ne'edah HaKodesh Nora Tehilot Tosefele Malachitecha Ra'u Vanecha Bokei Hayam Lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Ze Elianu
thank you, Tammy and Idor, for that beautiful rendition of Burafera Michamocha. Many of you will be recognizing that melody increasingly as we look to bring it into our regular prayer as a way of honoring our nation's first people and continuing to show our support for them and recognition of their culture, history, and heritage. But now, let's head back into the sanctuary to join with Rabbi Ettlinger, Kanzel Loom, and the Rauschberger and Silberscher families for the kindling of these six lights of Hanukkah.
Erev Tov, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us once again for another beautiful night of Hanukkah. Tonight we are lighting 6 candles. So I hope you've managed to pull out 6 candles and you have the shamash that makes 7. And we are so happy to be on the beamer with the Rauschberger and Silberscher families. So thank you so much for joining us. We do have 3 generations. One generation is a little bit hidden, but that's okay. He may emerge in just a little bit. So I'd like to hand over to you, Kate, and share who you are, who you're here with, and a little bit about your Chanukiah, and then Jack, over to you.
Hi, I'm Kate, and I'm here with Jesse, who's hiding. He might say hello. And I've also got my dad here, Jack, and we have 2 Chanukiot that we've brought. I think they're actually both from Israel. Yes. And this one is made up of lots of Svivonim, you can see, which is very exciting. And now I'll hand over to Dad to tell you about his.
We purchased this Hanukkah 10 years ago in Israel. It's multi-purpose, so it can be used for Shabbat, because they're all different pieces. The artist's name is Emil Schenfeld. He was from Brazil. He's a child. His parents survived the Holocaust, and the interesting story is that he made Aliyah in 1979. We actually purchased this at his shop in Neve Tzedek, but he's got another shop in Jerusalem at the Artist Colony, and he's had that there since 1984. So I wanted to share that with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And what is your favorite donut filling, Sufganiya filling?
My grandson said, I know his favourite filling is jam.
Yum.
That's Jesse.
Jack, do you have a favorite filling? Do you have a favorite filling?
Ponchka. Yeah. Jam.
Jam. Okay.
I like cinnamon and sugar.
Just going for the natural, huh?
Natural, yeah.
So let us light our candles, Kanzel Loom. Please lead us in the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שעשה ניסים לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה מעוז צור ישועתי לך נאה לשבח תיכון בתפילתי ושם תורה נזבח לדרין מטבח מצרם נבח אז אגמור בשיר מזמור חנוכת המזבח אז אגמור בשיר מזמור חנוכת המזבח. חג שמח, everyone.
Chag Sameach.
And Chag Sameach to you all. It was so lovely to hear Idor and Tammy sing so beautifully earlier in our candle lighting this evening. We thought this would be a wonderful opportunity to reflect back on some of the beautiful song that Idor has brought to us. First with Psalm 23, where he retells the story of his family's people, their 23 generation, or 2300 year, I should say, connection to the land of Persia. and then on to a retelling of one of our people's most ancient stories and songs from the chapter 3 of Kohelet, the words of turn, 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 replaced back to their traditional liturgy. 2 musical offerings for you to enjoy and to share as we celebrate this festival together.
Hi everyone. I wanted to share a little melody with you that I wrote a few months ago for Shavuot. And for this melody, I took a few verses off Psalm 23, and I used this instrument here called the oud to, as best as possible, capture its essence and its meaning for me. And the reason this musical piece is so important to me and it's so meaningful is because all my grandparents are from Baghdad, and they all barely escaped with their lives from a pogrom that happened in 1941. This pogrom was called the Farhut, and I wrote this melody in commemoration of that pogrom. The reason I'm sharing this melody with you right now is because it's customary, it's a minhag to sing psalms every night of the Slichot, and I hope you find as much meaning in this melody as I have, and that you experience some kind of renewal in this time. Shema Adonai, Koli Ekra. Shema Adonai, Koli Ekra. V'chaneni Shema Adonai, Koli Ekra. Shema Adonai, Koli Ekra. Mechaneni אל תדשני ואל תעזבני, אלוהי אישי. אל תדשני ואל תעזבני, אלוהי אישי. שמע Shema Adonai, Koli Ekra. V'chaneni כל זמן ועת, turn, 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 לכל חפץ, turn, 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 תחת השמיים, עת ללדת ועת למות, עת לטעת ועת לגור נטוע, עת להרוג ועת לרפוא, עת לפרוץ ועת לבנות, עת לבכות.
לבכות, עת לשחוק, לכל זמן ועת, turn, 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 לכל חפץ, turn, 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 תחת השמיים, את שפות ואת רכות, את להשליך אבנים ואת כנוס אבנים, את לחבוק ואת לרחוק, מחבק את לבקש ואת לאבד, לכל זמן ועת, turn, 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 לכל חפץ, turn, 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 תחת השמיים, עת לשמור ועת להשליך, עת לקרוע ועת לתפור, עת לחשוב ועת לדבר, עת לאהוב ועת לשנוא, עת מלחמה ועת שלום. To everything turn, 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 there is a season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven.